In this video, we're going to work through an example to show you how we can find the coefficient of x cubed in the expansion of 2 plus x squared times 3 minus 2x to the power of 5. When we're working with these type of expressions where we have got one bracket multiplied to another bracket and we're looking for a particular term, we need to consider what each of the term inside the first bracket needs to multiply to from the second bracket to achieve that term. For example, in this question, since we're looking for the coefficient of x cubed, this means that the number 2 from the first bracket will need to multiply to an x cubed term from the second bracket. And the x squared term from the first bracket will need to multiply to an x term from the second bracket. So what we're going to do in this one to illustrate my point is I'm going to start by expanding 3 minus 2x to the power 5. And if you remember, the identity for binomial expansion is given by a plus b to the n is equal to the summation from r is equal to 0 to n of ncr times a to the n minus r times b to the r. So let's start. We begin with 2 plus x squared and we're going to multiply to the first term in the expansion, which is 5c naught times 3 to the 0 times minus 2x to the 5. The second term is 5c1 times 3 to the 1 minus 2x to the 4. The third term is 5c2 times 3 squared times minus 2x cubed. The fourth term is 5c3 times 3 cubed times minus 2x squared. The fifth term is 5c4 times 3 to the 4 times minus 2x to the 1. And the last term is 5c5 times 3 to the 5 times minus 2x to the power of 0. Now, to get the x cubed term, this number 2 will need to multiply to the x cubed term here. And this x squared term will need to multiply to an x term, which is this one. So our next step now is to collect the x cubed term. So our first term is simply 2 times 5c2 times 3 squared times minus 2x cubed. And the other term is x squared times 5c4 times 3 to the 4 times minus 2x to the 1. Once we identify the sources of the x cubed term and collect them, our next step is to simplify them. For our first term, we see that 5c2 reduces to just 10, 3 squared is 9, the power of 3 applies to the negative 2 and the x so that we get minus 2 in bracket cubed times x cubed. This now reduces to 2 times 10 times 9. The minus 2 cubed will give us a negative 8 and all of these multiply to x cubed. Then putting all these into the calculator, we're going to get minus 1440 x cubed. We do the same for the second expression. The 5c4 reduces to 5, 3 to the 4 is equal to 81. The power of 1 applies to the negative 2 and the x so that we get minus 2 to the 1 times x to the 1. This x squared and this x to the 1 term will multiply out to give us x cubed. So this becomes 5 times 81 times minus 2 times x cubed. Again, putting this into the calculator, we're going to get minus 810 x cubed. Then adding all these two terms together, our final answer is minus 2550 x cubed. And therefore, the coefficient of x cubed in expansion of 2 plus x squared times 3 minus 2x all to the 5 is minus 2550. Thanks everyone for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoy that. In our next video, we're going to look at another similar example, a little bit harder. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. We hope to see you all in the next one. Bye for now.